In this video, we are going to discuss about why J-pop is not as big as K-pop here in the Philippines and how it affects MNL48 being a group under the same genre of that of AKB48, so stick around. How's it everybody? Welcome to Jesse Juice TV. Today in this video, we are gonna be discussing why J-pop isn't as big as K-pop in terms of global popularity and how it affects MNL48. And before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. J-pop or Japanese pop music covers a variety of genre that includes rock, R&B, and hip-hop. Japanese pop also draws influence from Western pop music, and they have a term kayokyoku that refers to music with Western influences that became the basis of the modern J-pop. The boom of J-pop started in the 90s, and some of the artists that used to be popular in the 90s are the likes of Nami Amuro, Utada Hikaru, Globe, and Pizzicato 5. But sometime around 2009, J-pop has been taken over by a new competitor, and that is South Korea. And since then till today, South Korea has been dominating. And since South Korea's K-pop has taken over and dominated the world, almost everyone goes crazy about K-pop, and there is barely anyone who talks about J-pop nowadays except those who are hardcore otakus. In the Philippines, it's not an exemption. K-pop is huge here in the Philippines, no doubt, because of the Hallyu wave. And that is why, since MNL48 is under the influence of J-pop, it seems to be hard for them to get the appreciation despite working hard for it. And on the other hand, it seems to be easier for other P-pop groups under the influence of K-pop to get the stream of attention they are targeting. But why did this happen? One of the reasons why J-pop fell behind K-pop in terms of global popularity is because Japan is simply not interested. Japan mostly creates music targeted towards the local market, and if you are an international fan of the industry, then you are much welcome to enjoy their music, but this industry does not cater to the interests of the international fans. And because of that, unlike K-pop, if you want to avail J-pop contents, you have to import them directly from Japan, or you have to go to Japan itself. And unfortunately, it shows that they intend to keep it that way. Japan is the second largest music market in the world, and that is because they support their local artists to a phenomenal degree. Japan is still attached to the concept of purchasing physical CDs, and combined with the reluctance in using digital services makes Japan an old school industry but very much alive. And because of that, Japan can earn more than enough just from the domestic sales alone, and therefore they are uninterested in promoting their music to a bigger global audience. And to further boost the sales of physical CDs, particularly of idol groups, they develop clever marketing strategies to make the fans buy more than what they only need. For instance, in idol groups, they have handshake events, wherein the handshake tickets are bundled inside the CDs. So, if you want to shake hands with many members, then you have to purchase more than one CDs that you can use for as many members you want. Another one with AKB48 is their annual Senbatsu Sosenkyo, or general elections, that we also have here for MNL48, wherein the fans have their voices heard and the ranks of the members are based on the votes they get from the fans. And just in 2014 alone, when AKB48 released their summer single, Labrador Retriever, it sold a whopping 1,462,156 copies of physical CDs on the first day of release. So when it comes to CD sales, AKB48 is the only one capable of breaking its own record, and there is always a spike in the CD sales whenever they have an annual general elections. 82% of music sales in Japan are comprised of sales of physical media, and most of that coming from AKB48, and this is one of the reasons why Japan is uninterested in global stardom. And since Japan is still inclined with the sales of physical CDs, it is difficult to find digital copies of J-pop on streaming platforms, and if there is, those would be the old ones. And It was only until 2020 when AKB48 finally decided to make their songs available on Spotify, and that is after more than a decade of existence. And that is because of Japan's reluctance to embrace the internet music industry. And since most J-pop contents are not accessible on digital platforms, that is one of the reasons why not many people knows about J-pop. Another reason why many people in the world are not into J-pop is that J-pop is often associated with the otaku culture, and the image of otaku is always considered weird because it doesn't have any Western flavor in it. J-pop is most of the time unwilling to accept foreign influence, and if they do, they have clever ways of making it their own, and yes, it will only be designed for the local market. And that reluctance to foreign influence inhibits its own growth, and they don't seem to care. J-pop is a diverse variety of genres, but they only cater to the domestic market. Also, the J-pop genre is often described to sound too anime-ish. For instance, if you will listen to any AKB48 song, or yes, also MNL48, the comments that you will often hear is that sounds like an anime theme song. Plus, J-pop idols' image is often associated with the kawaii image, so people who are more inclined with the Western taste could not relate. Or if Japan will ever get some foreign influence, they will still have its distinct Japanese flavor. For instance, J-rock bands like Baby Metal, Band-Maid, and Wagaki Band. If South Korea uses and abuses YouTube, that is why they invest so much in creating vibrant music videos. Most J-pop videos, on the other hand, are only posted as short versions, and those are only 1 minute short. So, if you are a fan of Japanese things beyond casually, you're used to them trying to do whatever they can do to make it hard for overseas fans to consume or to import their products. And the reason for that is Japan's very strict copyright laws. With Japan's strong fight against online piracy, illegally downloading a copy of new songs could actually send you to jail. Another thing is the huge difference between K-pop and J-pop idols is the cultural difference, and I think everyone knows this already. K-pop idols train rigorously for many years before they debut, and by the time that they debut, they are already polished performers. J-pop idols, on the other hand, are like diamonds in the rough. Once an aspiring idol passes the audition, they are sent to perform with little to no training at all because Japanese fans or wotas do not care about it anyway. There was one time an AKB48 member whose name is Sashihara Rino said, "You don't need to be a good dancer or good singer to be an idol." That is because Japanese fans or wotas doesn't care about it. After all, she was once a wota. And all these factors affect our very own MNL48. And that is because not many people are aware of J-pop. After all, Japan made it difficult for everyone, for people to have access to J-pop. And also, since Japanese idol music has a distinct sound, whenever non-fans hear an MNL48 song, they always have the impression that it's an anime soundtrack. I remember one time when I was at work, I was listening to Palusot Ko'y Maybe. My coworker asked, "From what anime is that?" And whenever they see an MNL48 music video, some comments that you will hear are, "Why are they wearing Sailor Moon outfits?" It's not that it is ugly. I am a fan myself, and I would argue that it looks beautiful, but that is because people are not accustomed to or familiar with the genre. Because Japan kept J-pop just for themselves, they made it very difficult for everyone to have access to their music because since they are the second largest music market in the world, they are not interested in global fame. And we cannot blame people if they are not familiar because that is what Japan exactly wants to happen. But luckily at this time, MNL48 is gradually getting the recognition they deserve. But despite MNL48's obvious disadvantage in terms of their genre, I strongly believe that that is also their strength as a group, and that is being different, being unique, and of course, with the help of the fans, we can help spread the awareness to more people. All it needs is to be heard more often so that people will become familiar. Because after all, back in the 90s, J-pop was once popular here in the Philippines before everyone went crazy for K-pop. We first heard of J-pop, and the variety that MNL48 has to offer will contribute to the growth of our own P-pop. And that is all I have for you guys in today's video, and I hope you learned something about the J-pop genre. And if I may ask, as a fan, how can you help spread the awareness about this genre in your own little ways? Comment down below and let me know. And if you would like to see future contents just like this one, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you stayed till the end of this video, I appreciate your time, and then we will see each other in the next video. Take it easy, friends.